Welcome to the Self-Awareness and Self-Compassion Podcast, formerly known as the Full Spectrum Feeling Podcast. I'm your host, Blaise Schwaller, life coach, mom, and former tattoo artist. I help people heal their past, speak their truth, and love the lives that they're living now. Join me here every week for conversations on how to live an imperfect but fully engaged life that embraces all the feels so that you can stretch into your best life while enjoying the you that's here right now. Hey everybody, I am sure you noticed today when you hit play that the name of the podcast has changed and the intro music has changed and all of that stuff has changed. And I just wanted to record a quick little note about it so that I wasn't just doing it out of the blue, out of nowhere, even though that's what I did. I was realizing that as fun as it's been calling this podcast the Full Spectrum Feeling Podcast, it didn't really get to the heart of what it is that I've been talking about and what I've been trying to create for you guys, which is cultivating a sense of self-awareness and self-compassion for yourself. And it's what I've been doing for myself and for my clients for the last almost 4 years now, which is amazing. And I love it. And I realized that I looked back at every single episode that I've made, it really comes back and centers on those two concepts, and it makes this a much more visible and easy to find podcast. And I thought, after 2 years, it's time for people to find me and hear this work because I think this work is amazing and everyone needs to hear it. And why not make it really obvious what the podcast is about? So welcome to the Self-Awareness and Self-Compassion Podcast. I'm totally excited. You guys, it was exciting to redo this. And also, I want to share a quick moment of insight that I had, which was that I'd built it up in my brain that it was maybe going to be a really difficult thing to change or do. And I got in my head about it and I delayed it for a while and I thought, is it a good idea? Should I do it? How hard will it be? Will it disrupt everyone? Will it make life harder? Will it be harder for people to find me? And when I really investigated those thoughts and ideas, I realized that the truth is that no, it's not going to make it harder for anybody. It's actually going to make it easier. And it turned out that it wasn't actually difficult at all to make the change because I use an awesome server. So I just went in and typed it. It updated everywhere. I redid my little picture. I redid my description. And honestly, the hardest part has been just remembering everywhere that I've mentioned that I have a podcast called Full Spectrum Feeling and going in and updating it to say, actually, it's the Self-Awareness and Self-Compassion Podcast. So I want to put out there that we do stress ourselves out and make mountains out of molehills. And we have things that we want to do or that we know is a good idea in our life. And we put it off and we think it's going to be way more complicated than it actually is in practice. And sometimes it's the fear of how hard it's going to be or how difficult it's going to be to make a change or how much we're scared that we might offend somebody or confuse somebody. I spent a lot of time worried that I was going to confuse people. And then I just decided, what if I just believed you guys are all completely capable of adjusting and realizing that it's still my voice, it's still me, it's the same podcast, it just has a different name. And I then just smacked myself and was like, you're fine. It's completely fine, Blaise. My goodness. Of course, everyone's going to be fine because we're all adults and it's not hard. It's still the same picture with a different name. It's still the same description, but with a different title. I have faith in all of us that we can handle this. So thank you so much for sticking with me as I go on this exciting journey into next year. This is also my commitment to be producing season 3. So we're going to go through all of next year. And you guys, I am so excited because I've written out an entire arc. I know exactly what we're going to be talking about for all 52 weeks next year, which blows my mind. I've never planned this far ahead before, but I feel like I'm really diving in and living the way that I teach. I'm living what I preach, and it feels really good and in alignment with who I am and what I do and what I help create in the world. So cheers. Have a wonderful week. I've got another episode for you right after this one. That's the normal episode that goes live on Fridays. And I just wanted to thank you all so much for sticking with me, for being a part of this creative process, for finding some comfort in joining me and my rambling sometimes and my ideas and these thoughts that I have about how we can create a more compassionate, more self-aware life that acknowledges that we're emotional beings and we have a lot of stress and we feel things super hard. And yet we're able to meet ourselves there, be kind to ourselves, create a life that we really love living, even with all of that drama. It's just awesome. And I'm very much appreciative that you're going along with me with that, and hopefully, changing your life too, making it better. So thank you for being here for the change, and I'll catch up with you next week and we'll just keep going. Thanks for everything. Thanks so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and share it with someone you love, and leave us a review. You can learn more and get some self-compassion tips and tricks by visiting coachwithblaze.com, where you can sign up to get my free booklet on overcoming anxiety, overwhelm, exhaustion, and burnout. I'm sending you so much appreciation and love, and I'll see you next time.